Good afternoon, everybody. We can go ahead and we'll get started here. I'm sure some people are going to be joining as we're going. But first off, I want to thank everybody for attending our training here. Today, we're just going to be going over the basics of of the new Drupal 9 platform to kind of just show you the ins and outs as far as what to expect, the admin bar, how to kind of navigate things, going over the content overview page, how to edit blocks that are already existing on the site itself, and then also just adding in different kinds of content. And this is going to be kind of a hands-on training. So we're going to have you guys do things like just log in to the site. You're going to be able to kind of create your own content. And I can answer any questions as you guys are going through this to see if you guys have any issues that you run into, and we can solve those. So before we begin, does anybody have any questions on anything?
Nope.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started here. I'm going to try out this feature that looks like it's new in Google Meets. This is Q&A here. I guess if you guys have a question, you can throw it in there. I'll keep it up just in case if it pops up here. But we can always just do open questions later on. But we'll see how that goes. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Actually, let me back up here. I'm gonna send you guys to a training site that we have here available for you. I am going to put the link in our chat here. This is going to be the site that we're going to be working on today, just kind of to be able to add it and kind of edit content. We could play around with this. You can play around with it after the training, just for your own purposes. But at some point, stuff is going to be just wiped from this. But it is a good just tool for you to kind of go in there and start playing around with. So I am going to share. So I'm also going to share with you kind of the login screen here, the link to the login. You're going to use these credentials, the username training user, and the password 1234. So let me send you the link for that to log into the site. Whoops, sorry, not that link. Actually going to be just user. Yeah, so use that second link there, and then there you will be able to enter in that username and password. Once you log in, you'll see a white bar appear to the left of your screen. That's going to be the admin bar, and I'll show you guys here in a second. But I want to give everybody a second to log in to see the username and the password. Okay, I'm going to switch tabs here. So going over here, this is the URL for the /user to be able to log in. You should see this. You have the username. I put in training user, and then the password is the password 1234 with a capital P. So I will go ahead and click on login. All right. So when you log into the website, the first thing you'll notice is going to be it will show what you've been a member for. And then on this left-hand side of things, you'll see the navigation. So sometimes, depending on what your permission level is, you'll see more or less of these buttons here on the side. It just allows you to do things. Today, we actually have you at a power level permission just to kind of clear this issue that we have on this particular site, which is just not allowing content editors, which is what most people would be, to upload images themselves. We ran into a bug here. So, but right now we have it on the power user. So you might see a little bit more things to do here than you might be used to on your site. However, the things that we are doing today, you're going to be able to do on your site as well. There shouldn't be any issues there. But let me go ahead. I'm going to go back to the home page. So you can just see we obviously have the home page. You'll notice some other things as you're logged in. So not only are you seeing this admin bar here to the left, but you'll also start to see these tabs that are appearing above each page. And we will get to this here in a second. But first, what I want to do is go over the admin menus itself. So when you hover over the top teardrop icon, these are just the tools that you'll have at your disposal. This is also where you'll best to go just to log out of the website if you need to do that. But this is where you're going to be able to, flush cache or see some other things that you're able to do within Drupal. Also, just to note, if you're looking to go back to the home page while you're in the admin menu, if you just click directly on this teardrop, it actually takes you to the home page itself. So just kind of a quick little tool here to just to kind of get back to the front page. Navigating down a little bit, another item you'll see here is the content. Now, this is going to be kind of where you're going to live for the most part when you're working on your website, whether that is you want to take a look at all the content that you've done, you want to create new content, this content button is where you want to go to be able to do that. Just below that, you might see a structure. In your structure, usually what you would see and what you just kind of need to pay attention to is going to be taxonomy. Just kind of allows you to take a look at the different taxonomy that might be used throughout your site. That taxonomy, what it means is that it's the kind of categorization that we use to be able to categorize and organize our content throughout the website. You'll also notice web forms. Web forms, that's where you'll go to kind of see the submissions for your web forms that are found throughout your website, whether that's just the contact page or other web forms you may have set up. But that's kind of where you'll go to kind of get to see where the submissions are at, and then be able to kind of print those off into Excel spreadsheets. The last thing you might notice on your on a normal permissions would be this configuration. One thing to note, when you go through that, you actually won't be able to click on anything. It says you don't have the permission to do that. But that's okay. You don't need anything in there. I'm not sure why it's still showing up when a content editor doesn't have permission, but just know in case you're wondering why it's not working, it's just not intended to work in this for your setup usually. So, but anybody have any questions on the admin menu itself? Okay. So, I'm assuming that some of you might be going through the turnkey migration that we are currently doing. And when you get your website, you may want to just, what is the first thing you're going to do? You want to edit the content that's already in there. And you want to be able to find that information and kind of do what you need to do if you want to edit small things like text here and there. So I want to go over that with you. So the first place we'll want to take a look at is going to be this content overview page. So under the content tab of the admin menu, I want to click on overview. So wait for that to load. So as you can see here, what this does is that this brings up all of the content that is created on my website. So this is where I can find any news or press releases that you may have done on the website or may have gotten transferred over, any basic pages that are here. You'll be able to find those as well. But all the content, such as resources, those type of things, they can all be found on this content overview page. You can easily search for things. If I were to write in public here, it will search for everything that has public in the title itself. If I go ahead and erase this, and maybe I want you to just take a look at all of the resources that are on your website, you can filter that as well, just so you can take a look at just the resources themselves. Of course, you can do that with the news events, or anything else, any other type of content that you have on your site. Any questions on this in particular? Okay. So, to edit a page for the content, whether that is for a basic page here, we're going to take for as an example. If I was editing something on there, what I could easily do would be to go to here, look it up, and then I could be able to edit the content here. And it'll take me to an edit page. Another way of going about doing it is that I'm going to go and navigate just to a random page on the website. Let's take a look at the contact us. The other way to edit that content itself would be to go to this page, and in this top tab menu that we kind of pointed out earlier, you'll be able to kind of go directly and edit that page itself here. Um, the other way, but when you click on a website, when you click on one of your pages, that when you have your migrated website over, you'll click on content, and then you'll probably note one thing you might notice is that, well, this page is blank, but it has content on there. How do I edit what is already on there? So the way to go about doing something like that, if you notice this, the other place to go to is this layouts tab. So if I click on layout, this will actually bring me back to that page to be able to find this content and to be able to edit these things. So when I hover over something, you'll notice these little pencil icons, and these are allow me to configure the block to be able to kind of edit content that's found within it. This is kind of normal, especially when you get your website. You might have content that's already put in place that our vendors kind of helped migrate over, and they put them into these what we call our blocks. And you can be able to hover over, go to the layout, and you'll be able to configure in order to change that content itself. So, as for example, if I go to the landing page here and I wanted to change the text that is within here, what I would do is that I would hover over it. You'll see this little pencil icon come up, and then I would click on edit. One thing you might notice is you'll see this quick edit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I try to avoid it for the most part because sometimes it will mess up the site a little bit. Nothing that you can't fix, but it just from the admin side, it can break the admin panel a little bit. So I just try to avoid it at all costs. Just go in and just click on either edit or configure, and it will bring up the to be able to edit the content that's within here. Now, this is something that you guys might run into as you get your new sites, and something that the first things you want to do. Well, I want to change how this is how this is working. So, for example, this one right here, we have brief misspelled here, so I just want to change that, and then I will go ahead and go down. I will click save, and now it is updated on my site as well. So that's going to be just another way of editing content. Sometimes it's found within the actual page itself, and that's for more static content. You're not doing these blocks or what we call either blocks or components. Um, so it just kind of keeps it simple. You edit it in there, but when you start getting a little bit more with these kind of layout and landing pages, you'll want to edit through the block system that we have here. Any questions so far on any of this? I know I'm throwing a lot of information at everybody. Okay. So to keep that in mind while you guys are editing stuff that's on your website, that's just kind of how you manage it quickly to be able to kind of change things around. But what you might be also interested in is obviously going to be adding onto the website and adding new content. So in order to do that, when we go back to the content in the admin bar here to the left, and I'm going to click on add content. So when I click on add content, this shows us all of the different types of content that we can create on our new agency platform website. We are going to be improving upon these content. We're going to be adding on to this content list for people to take advantage of. But for right now, out of the box, as we first pushed out this new platform, this is what we have here. We have basic page, which is going to be the place where either you want to create a landing page or you want to create some static content and have it live within the main menu. That's what you're going to create here. We have events that obviously will showcase events that your agency may be having. The leadership content is going to be you highlighting the leadership and staff within your agency, and it'll build out this list. The other one will be meetings. This was mainly catered towards boards and commissions who have to display out their board meetings or committee meetings. This is a good place to be able to upload what time it's going to be at, allow people to, and also allow you to upload your agendas and your audio minutes. So that's where you would go in order if you want to create some more board meetings. We also have news and press release. It's just kind of like how it seems. Any press releases or news articles that you want to share, you'll be able to create that content here. Service is a new content type that we are introducing. This is just to identify all of the services that your agency provides, whether that is online or offline services, if those services are tailored for employees or just for everyday citizens. That's kind of where we want to go and create those services to call those out. And then lastly, we have web forms. Web forms is something we will go over in a more advanced training, just to kind of show you how to build out web forms for your sites and kind of the do's and don'ts. Right now, we're still working on those policies and kind of like the rules and everything for people, so you can go and create and be able to collect information from people. But other than that, does anybody have any questions on these particular content? Okay. We are missing one, and let me fix that real quick. It is the resource content type, and it's something I do want to go through with everybody. So give me 1 second to fix that. While I'm doing this, does anybody have any questions so far on any of these content types? Okay, let me refresh this page here. Okay, here we go. The other things that you might see in here are going to be the resources. So resources is a big one. I know a lot of people have had questions on that as they've gone through our website. So how we're using resources is going to be a way for you to upload documents and important links uh, that you find necessary on your website. If you've gone through um, our turnkey migration, what we've instructed our vendors to do is literally to find whatever documents that are found when they go through your old site, is to put it as a resource. So it's there built into our resource library. Now, I know that some agencies have taken a look at it and they didn't realize that some of those files were even on their website, which is fine. And I'll show you how to manage that. But first, let me just show you kind of what to expect when it comes to resources itself. So if I click on this resource page over here, click on resources, and in under resources, again, this is where I'll be able to create a resource and either link a document to it or link a link to another website that may be important for your users to know. Um, so there you'll have those resources, and that will link off here on the title of it, and then we are able to categorize those resources. So if you're uploading policies, state statutes, or budget reports, this is kind of where you go and be able to categorize it so people can look specifically for certain items. So if I was looking for things that were just training, I can apply that and it will show me all the training resources that are there. So again, it can be a document, whether that is a training manual for people, or it can help me if I link off to an outside source that helps people with training. We can do that as well and have it featured on here. And each of these resources, you can also put a little bit more context if needed. So if you wanted to describe what exactly this is, you can do that as well. And people can be able to kind of get a little bit more context of exactly what this resource is about. Um, and then the last thing is going to be this search keyword. This allows me to actually search within that content. So kind of just keywords that are found within the context of a resource. So for this one in particular, if I looked up, let's say 2000 here, for example, and I applied it, this will show up here because under the context, this is making it over 2000 years old. So it searches that. So any questions so far? All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to create a resource just so you kind of see how that works. So I'm going to create something here. I'm going to call this, let's call this a new resource. I'm going to say it's an annual report. It has to do with our budget. I'm going to link it. I would upload a document, but right here, I'm just going to link it off to something. So let's just go to google.com. And in the description, I'm actually going to throw some lorem ipsum in here. So let me pull up my favorite lorem ipsum generator, which is called Cupcake Ipsum. All right, I'm going to throw that in there, and then I am going to click save. So when I click save, it just brings up the resource page itself, kind of just giving me an overview of everything I just did. I have it here. Here's my description. Here's the document type, and here's the link that is linking off to. If I had uploaded a document itself, it would appear here as well, so I can click on it. But this kind of just gives me an overview of this resource itself. What I want to do is go back to the actual resources page that we were taking a look at. So without me doing anything, all I did was just create that new resource. It has added it onto this particular list. So there's my resource. It's an annual report, annual budget report. If I click on this, this will take me to google.com, which is what I instructed it to do. Going back here, we have, if I just go to more info, it shows me the description that I put in here. And yeah, it adds it onto this list. So me by just simply creating that resource will make it appear on our catch-all resources list and also individual resources lists that we can create that are more specified in nature, in the sense of for a lot of the state statutes and rules that are featured on your website, we've gone ahead and pulled out those ones in this particular in this resource list, and just created a page for all the state statutes and rules. And again, if I change it one place, it changes everywhere on the website. So that's kind of where we were going for with everything. Now, again, I mentioned before, because if you've gone through our turnkey migration, there's probably a bunch of resources, documents, whatever it is, stuff that has been added on here, and you might be wondering a couple things like where did they even pull that from? It was probably just old content that was found on your old site, and they don't. Our vendors don't make the call whether something transfers over or not. We just assume is everything as important as the next thing, so we make sure that we transfer it over. However, editing and removing those resources is simple enough. So if this one in particular, I say, oh, that new resource, I don't need this one. This is kind of an old document. You can easily edit that by, if you hover over the actual resource and you see this little icon that pop up, I can click on that and just click delete. So this will delete that content from my website, and then now it is no longer there. So it's easy enough to manage. There's ways to doing bulk changes, and we can always go over that one on one. And you guys reach out to us. But I wanted to see if anybody had any questions up to this point as far as creating content or creating this resource in particular. All right. So what I want to move on to next, and again, like I had said, that this is a hands-on training. Um, I'm going to give you guys your first task to do. I'm going to give you about like 5 to 10 minutes to do this. But what we want to do is we're going to be adding content. We're going to create a resource. The title of the resource can be whatever it is that you want. You can choose whatever document type that you want. So whether that is policy or whatever, just as for test purposes. And then add a PDF document that you may have on your computer, or just use a URL to a website. When you do that, add a description and then click save. So I'm going to give everybody about 5 to 10 minutes to do that, and then answer any questions as people are having any issue, if people are having any issues doing this. So go ahead. Let's go ahead and just get started. We're about halfway through here. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody have any issues completing this first task?
I'm just at the resource link, and I was trying to figure out what I want to put in there.
I was trying to click on the magnifying glass, and then it kicked me out into a preview screen, and I'm completely kicked out.
It says enter no link to display link text only. Enter button to display keyboard accessible link text. So I attached a document. I got the title and everything. Just not sure what. So the resource link, what we should put in there.
So the resource link, and Diane, I'll get to you in here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
The resource link and the resource document is kind of an either or situation. So
okay.
Whether if you want it to be an external, something that goes somewhere, or you want to point it
to another
a
page. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that link is for.
So I can leave it blank?
Yeah, you can leave it blank. If you were doing just the document itself, you uploaded something, you can leave the resource blank.
And
the resource link blank.
Yeah, saved. I'm done then. Okay, you can go to Diane.
Yes, Diane. So you said you clicked on the magnifying glass?
Yeah.
The magnifying glass, are you talking about the one that is on the resource link? Like the little boxes underneath it?
Yeah, and the link.
Sorry, what was that?
It was a link on the resource link.
Okay.
So, yeah, then it took me into some kind of preview. But I don't know how to get back to where I was. Because, like, if that happens, how do you get back to the
preview? Okay, so
does it automatically? Oh, if you haven't hit the save button, then it doesn't exist. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's
yeah. If you clicked on preview, it'll just bring you up to a page that doesn't technically exist. It kind of just gives you an idea before you actually publish it.
Gotcha. So if you wanted to attach a document, you would go into resource document, add media.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Okay. I'll give everybody here a couple more minutes. Let me know if there's any more questions. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here, and I will run through it real quick here. What this task was. So I already see one up here already. So, but if I go ahead and to accomplish the task, I would go to content over here, go to add content, and then I would go straight to resource. So here I'm going to title my cool resource. going to, let's say this is a procedure. I will add in a media, which is I'll add in a document. I'll just take one of the ones that is in here already. Insert that one. I will insert some lorem ipsum. This will be my description here. And then I will go ahead and click save. Everything looks good. Going to go back to the resources page. And my cool resource is here. Does anybody have any questions on this process or about resources in general? All right. I will go ahead and move forward here. The next thing I kind of want to show you guys how to create is going to be those basic pages, if you're going to start creating a landing page or you want to create just a simple interior static page. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that here. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go into add content, just like we did for the resources, and I'm going to go to basic page. So just like the resource, I just have these this information that I just need to fill out here to get me where I need to go. So for this one, I'm going to call it a cool page. In the body, again, I'm just going to use my lorem ipsum that I have saved in here. And that's going to put the body on the page itself. If you're looking for a little bit more tools to kind of play around with how you want to format your body, under this text format, if you switch it over to full HTML, this will actually give you a little bit more options to kind of play around with. So that's one thing just to kind of keep in mind as you're doing things. That's found throughout the site. But I'm going to keep it as a basic HTML for now. Over here to the right, you might notice some of these things. I want to go over what these mean. The first thing you might see is this revision log message. If you were creating or you were editing content that maybe somebody else created and you wanted to change something, you can add that log message in there just so that they're aware of what changes had happened. So that keeps a list of things as you update websites. It's kind of your call depending on how you want to do your workflow, but just know that that's there for you to take advantage of. Scrolling down here, you'll see the menu settings. So the menu settings, this will be where if I wanted to apply it to the main menu, the main navigation of the website, I would go ahead and do that here. For this particular page, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to click on provide menu link. So the menu link title will just be my title of my page. The description, I don't have to do anything there. You can leave that blank. And then the parent link item. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And you'll see different options that pop up. I'm not sure if it's popping up on your guys' screen or not. But if you go ahead and click on that, it will have the different menu items that are on your main menu. So if I wanted it to be under about, I can just go ahead and click about, and that will be the parent item. So now I'll be directly below about. However, for this particular page, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it as main navigation because I want it to be on that top level tier. The weight, you can just leave as 0. Down here, you'll see meta tags. You can ignore that for the most part. This other part, you'll see this URL alias. This is generated automatically for you based off of the patterns that we have set within our platform. So what this means as far as the URL alias, it just means that what does it say in the address bar at the top of your browser where you put in www.google.com. You can change that / to whatever it is you want. So it'd be google.com/cool page, or you can name it something else. Automatically, this will build it for you. So for the most part, you don't really need to touch it. But if you did have the need to change it, you can always turn this off and just put in a custom one in here as well. Authoring information, you can just leave that, just kind of lets you know who's editing the content. And then promotion options, promoted to front page or sticky at top of list. These don't really apply to the basic pages, but in some other content it does, such as the news articles. Because if you wanted to feature a news article, you would just select promoter front page and stick it at the top of the list, just so it's featured on the different blocks that you may find on your website. But I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. And I'm going to go ahead and click save. So my cool page has been created. As you can see here, it is also at the top level navigation. So it is there now on the top level for the main menu. But right now, I just have a static page. Not much to it, but that's kind of where I wanted it to be. And this is kind of like the default layout of those things. So, but does anybody have any questions as far as creating that kind of basic page? Okay. Next thing I want to do. Next thing I want to do is I'm going on this layouts tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So this is going to start allowing me to add a little bit more to the page itself if I wanted to go ahead and go that route. This is called our layout builder. You're going to be pretty familiar with this as you're kind of creating content and editing content that's on your website. Layout builder just kind of allows us to take the content that we have to add in new kind of components, whether that is a slideshow, some type of hero image, or you want a kind of a fancy looking block to be on that page. You will go ahead and create that here through this kind of interface. And this interface is called that layout builder. It allows you to add in different sections in kind of width and the height of those sections. It also allows you to add in those different blocks or components and to make your site a little bit more visually appealing. So in this case, what I want to do for my cool page is that I'm actually going to create a block here on this top section. So as you can see, this top section goes across the entire width of the page. We kind of designate this for slideshows and hero images. So that's what I want to put into this particular section. So when I click on add block, you'll see this navigation, this admin menu pop up from the right. Here, the only thing you really want to focus on right now is just going to be this big blue button at the top. This is create custom block. So if I'm going to create a slideshow, if I'm going to create a hero image, this is where I will go and do that. So I'm going to click on create custom block. And then I have these different blocks to create from, or these different components. As you can see, we have things like banner. We have things like accordions, basic blocks. Basic block is just going to be basic text if you want to put it in a certain place. Or we have things, you can take advantage of Google Maps, put in an address, and it'll actually throw up a map in there for you. Card set is another one that is very popular. And then different types of text with images where the text is on the left, or the image is on the left, and then you have text just to the right of it. So that's one way to do that as well. But for this particular one, what I want to do is I actually want to create a banner. So I'm going to go ahead and click on banner. And then the title comes up as kind of just a default title, banner. I'm just going to leave that blank. You can name it whatever it is. This doesn't really matter unless you want to display that title itself for that component you're creating. For a banner, we don't want to do that. We don't want to display anything, but we do want to create a title. So a title for this would be, and this title would be the title of the actual hero or the banner image. So I'm just going to call this cool page, for example. The description, let's throw in some of that lorem ipsum. I'm going to shorten it up here a bit. Probably only need a sentence in here. You can have the banner itself link to something. So, but this is just going to be a banner to make this particular page look a little more visually appealing. I don't need it to link to anything, so I'm just going to leave that blank. And same with link text. And then I'm going to add in a media here. So let me click on something here. So if you go through the website, you have the option to either take one of the images that are already uploaded on here, or you can upload an image yourself. And I'm going to run through that real quick. So I could do that, but for the most part, if I'm doing a new image here, I probably want something I have in mind that's currently on my computer. So I'm going to pull up something here. Let's see if I can find a good image. I have a bunch of images for wedding things because I have a wedding coming up next year. So I'm going to just grab one of these things. So I have here's a picture. So for the alternative text, whenever you upload a document or or an image, try to be as descriptive as you can be in the alternative text. Just a reminder, if in case you don't know, that is actually used for people who have screen readers on their phones. So people who are visually impaired will use their device, and it would actually read back to them what's on the website, so they can actually have context to what's going on. So if you have an image, it describes what that image is. So for here, I'm going to put image of wedding table and lights at night. So that way, if somebody is visually impaired and they're having it read back to them, they'll know what this image is. So it might bring context to other parts of the website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. The other thing, when you upload an image, there are going to be some things that you have to do. It's going to be going through these crops to make sure that they look nice and kind of how you want to present that image. There's different types of crop here. And you don't want to focus on one. You want to do all of them. So, and it won't let you proceed until you do all of them. So I'm going to click on this first one, this card teaser crop. It doesn't apply until I click on it. So if I click on it, it says crop and applied. That's how I know that I'm good to go with this one. So if I wanted it to be maybe just this part of it, I'm good there. If I go to the slideshow or page image crop, this would be for more so for the slideshow images. So I'm gonna click on that. Banner is what we are creating here. So that's actually what I want to create for this one in particular. So maybe I want just the lights. It's kind of the route that I want to go. It makes it a little bit smaller. So I'm focusing on just the lights here. And then I have a square crop, which is used for other places. And maybe for this one in particular, I want to focus on just the wedding table. It's here in the front. Maybe some items that are here. And I will go ahead, scroll down. You can ignore these things. The show and media library, that was kind of an old feature that we haven't gotten rid of. So this doesn't mean anything, but you can go ahead and just leave the other default. And I'm going to click save. So now that image is now part of my my library. I can use it in different places. I have all the crops in place, so I don't have to worry about cropping it over again. So I can go ahead and click on that, and then I will insert selected here. It adds it on to my banner that I want to do here. And then I can choose click to add image overlay. This actually adds a little bit of a black hue, so it can actually make any text color itself stand out. You can also change the color of that text. So if you had a very white image, you wouldn't want to use white text because you won't be able to read it. But if you can always change it over to black, so it'll make it stand out a little bit more. But for this one in particular, it is a dark image. I'm going to keep white and add the block in there. So now, as you can see here, I have this image that is going across the top of my page. So this is just a banner image. It adds a little bit to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and click save. So now it looks good. What I want to do, I'm going to click save. And now I have a banner on this particular page that I am working on. So it adds a little something to it. So you might notice this on some of your pages. You can go ahead, just kind of like how we said before. If you need to change something around, you have this this edit button. It will take you to in order to change some of this stuff around if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. I clicked on the wrong button. It's actually the other one that's supposed to appear below it. Anyways, so you go ahead and that looks good, but now I'm starting to realize on this particular page, oh, I have cool page here and cool page at the bottom here. So I want to get rid of the one that's at the bottom because I'm kind of using that banner as kind of my title. So I'm going to go ahead, go to cool page. As you see here, here is my title for the page itself. If I click on this, again, the little icon here to the right pops up. All I have to do is just remove block and click remove. Now that that particular thing is gone, don't worry. If you accidentally remove a block, you can always go back and add it. And there's some reusable blocks, and there's blocks that are only used one time. So you might have to recreate some, but other ones you might be able to kind of just bring back. So, but I'm going to go ahead. That's what I want to do. I'm going to click Save Layout. And now, here we go. I have my titles up here, my cool page. I have a little description here. And then here's everything that's added into this particular page. Now, I know that was a lot there. Does anybody have any questions as far as adding banners or those type of blocks themselves? Okay. We're going to move on to our next activity here. So we're going to do exactly what we just went over. We're going to create a basic page. We're going to add a title, some lorem ipsum to the body, and then under the menu settings, I want you to add the parent menu to be the cool page. That will make sure that your page goes directly under cool page in the main menu. And we'll show you what happens when that happens. And then you're going to click save. After you save it, you'll have a basic page, nothing on there. I want you to add a banner. This is slideshow, but let's add a banner to that top image. Let's see if we can change that. There you go. Let's add a banner to that top region. I'll give everybody about 10 minutes to do so. Let me know if there's any questions. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody having trouble with this?
It just took a second to see all the menus, but I'm at the banner right now.
Okay.
Where do I find layout?
So when you have created your new page, at the very top, you'll see a little tab menu system where it says edit.
Oh,
Yeah,
duh.
and if you click on layout right there.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Yeah, I know that this this layout builder, it does take a little time to get used to it. But once it has a little bit of a learning curve, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to kind of move around content, add different things to kind of stylize your pages and make them look a little bit more visually appealing. So there's definitely a lot of power behind the layout builder itself. All right. And then we go ahead and move on. Does anybody have any questions on that? Let's go ahead and let's share my screen itself. So I'm still on my cool page. So one thing here that you'll notice is two things. First thing, the actual main menu, now I have a drop down automatically. So those new pages that were added, ASNet and basic page D, that is in there. So, and also for that page that I had, I used kind of the default, and that allowed me to have this side navigation as well. So if I go ahead, let's say I click on ASNet here, the ASNet menu that is here. If I go to basic page here, that's there as well. So it kind of just builds out that menu system too for you without having to worry too much about that. Now, I did want to go back to the ASNet thing here. one thing I want to show here. So we do have the banner in here, but if you're kind of wondering why it didn't quite look the way that mine looked, it's mainly just based off of where you put it into which section. So, and we can easily kind of fix this. So I'm going to click on layout here for this particular page. We added it here under the section 2, but where the banner kind of looks best will always be in the section 1, which is going to be that full page thing. So if I just grab this and I move this up to section 1, you can see it expands out here. And when I click save layout, it's automatically to the top, kind of stylized that way. So just keep in mind when you are doing the layout and you're adding those components, they are, you can move things around. Even if you create them in the wrong space, you can easily move it to where it needs to be and present it that way. But of course, there's different ways to present things. I mean, if you wanted it there, that could be, that's something that you can easily do as well. But just kind of showing you how to move things around. Any questions on this particular stuff? Okay, so we're going to do our last task here. It's just going to be very kind of simple with what we have here. It's going to be based off of kind of what we've been building upon. So I'm going to create one more page here. I'm going to call it, again, it's kind of doing what we just did. I'm going to create a basic page. Under that basic page, I'm going to name it, I'm going to call it the food right now. And I'll show you why. Right now, I'm not going to add a body. I want this to be a blank page because I'm going to add some more of those components that we were taking a look at here. So in the main menu system, I'm just going to provide it under the main navigation. I want it to be top level, and I'm going to click save. So for this, now I kind of have a blank page, and here it is on the main menu called the food. What I'm going to do here is that I'm going to add in a slideshow. I'm going to show you how it looks a little bit different than the actual banner we just created. So I'm going to add a block. Again, I'm going to go to create custom block here. And then I am going to click on slideshow, which is found right here. So I'm going to leave it. Again, the title, just slideshow. Don't need to display anything. The slide itself, I'm going to add in the first slide that we're doing. So here's the image that I want to take a look at. I'm going to choose this one in particular here. Scroll down, insert selected. As you can see here, I didn't need to do any kind of cropping because I already know somebody uploaded this and they did the cropping for me. Scroll down here, slide title. We're just going to call this slide 1. Slide text. This is the first slide of this slideshow. Link. Let's go to HTTPS. I'm just going to put in yelp.com. Find more food. Add an image overlay, have it be white, and I want to add in one more slide here. So when I click on add slide, it allows me to add in a whole new set of things that I can upload, or fields as we call them. So I'll add in another image in here. If I scroll down here, let's see if I can just actually pull one from my site here. We'll pull this image. Image of some tacos. Again, applying the cropping. I'll do slideshow crop, which is what we are creating here. So this is, make sure I gotta get this right. Banner, something similar. And then square crop. That looks good to me there. And I will go ahead and save this. Okay. So, oops. So I have those uploaded. I'm going to select the tacos here. And then I'm going to add a slide title. Just put carne asada. Slide text. These are some carne asada tacos. Link. I'm not going to do a link for this one, but I'm going to add an overlay, have it be white. And now I have my slides in here. So I have the first one and the second one of the actual tacos itself. But what I want to do is that you also have the option to kind of rearrange things. So you'll see these little crosses that are here. If you just simply take it and kind of drag it up, it will start to rearrange some of these items that are found on here. So now the tacos are on top, and then I have these people at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just click the add block here. So again, now I have a slideshow. I'm just going to quickly save it. Now you see the slideshow is a little bit larger than the actual banner itself. This is something just for more prominent things, but you can go ahead and it will just kind of slide through here yourself. So it easily kind of creates a basic slideshow here. We still have the title called the food. The last thing I want to do is I actually want to create one more component, and this is going to be a new component. Slideshow is similar to what we did before, but if I go back to layout and under the food, I want to add in a card set. So I'm going to show you the card set real quick. So I'm going to create a custom block. I'm going to go to where it says card set. So what card set will do is that it creates cards, and you'll see how they look, that are going to be side by side with each other. Usually you want to display prominent, kind of quick call to action buttons for people to go to specific places on your website. So for this one in particular, I'm just going to create a card set. I'm going to use the basic card for the card type, and we can change what the card type does is that it changes what it looks like. The view mode, I'm going to create 3 columns. So that's going to put 3 of these call to action cards next to each other. So I am going to go ahead and add a title. So just call this card 1, add an image. We will use one of these images that we did before. Insert selected. Text. Let's just say this goes to the about page. Say learn more. And before, I don't want to skip over this. Just another thing you guys can know. For the URL section, you don't have to do the HTTP like how I've been doing so far. That's just for external pages. However, if you want to go to directly something that's inside of your website, if you were to type in anything in here, it starts to filter out what you might be looking for. So these are actual interior pages. So if I selected about, this will go to my about page itself. The link text, I wanted to say learn more, body. This is the first card. I'm going to add in 2 more here. So I'm adding another card. Title, card 2. Add media. I'm going to use the tacos that I uploaded earlier. URL, let's say this goes to landing page 3. Link, learn more. This is card 2. Add 1 more card in here. So I am going to title card 3. Add media. I will take this picture here, insert it. URL. Let's say this goes to the components page. Learn more. This is part 3. So I'm going to go ahead and add this block. I don't want to add any more cards. However, you can keep adding cards on and they'll start to stack on top of each other. But this is kind of what they look like, where you have the image that we uploaded, the title of that card, and then the little description that goes along below this. And then this allows me to click to send to different pages on the website or even to external web pages as well. So that looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Layout. And this kind of gives me the kind of landing page that I was looking for. So we have the different places, maybe places to go eat, different kinds of food, and so on and so forth. Does anybody have any questions on that or on card set specifically? Okay. Now, we are nearing the end of our training here. I do have this last task. It is kind of what we just went through, but I would like you to add a basic page. The title can be your favorite restaurant. You don't need to add a body. Let's just start it off because we're going to be doing some stuff with the layout builder. So don't add a body, but make sure to put it under the parent item of the food, which was that page I just created. And then go ahead and click save. Once you have saved, you'll have a blank page to kind of work with. So there, you're going to go to the layout. You're going to add a slideshow with 2 slides, and then add a card set, kind of like what I just did. And then you can add one more, which is going to be the basic block. It's going to be like the description of that restaurant. But you can go ahead and get started. Let me know if there are any questions or even any other questions that maybe not relating to this task that I can answer, because we are nearing the end of time and we kind of want to leave some time for Q&A as well. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Does anybody have any questions so far with this? Any trouble anybody running into?
I don't know if I'm having trouble or not. I'm trying to add stuff.
I think you're good. Yeah, if you have any questions though, just let me know. For those of you on this call though, have any of you gone through the whole migration process? Does anybody have any questions on their sites in particular? Okay. Yeah, so just continue to work on this. I'll leave it up here. We got about another 4-5 minutes here.
So Vincent, is the card set like section 3 of the layout, or where would that be?
I just realized I was on mute. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. It could be in section 2. I think it looks best there. You can also put it in section 3. They'll look at either way. So I think you can't go wrong with either one.
Oh, I think I stuck my slideshow in section 2. Should I move that up?
Yeah, you can go ahead and move that up to section 1.
Section 1. Okay, I'll keep going.
Okay, we're about time here. I'm going to switch back over to the website. And so far, does anybody have any questions on what we just went through? I'm going to refresh here. So as we can see here, it is building below. That's just something we can always just readjust as we see things. But under the food, we have just favorite restaurant and La Piazza. I'm gonna click on here just as an example. We have a slideshow. This one has 3 slides. That's good. And then taking a look at the other one here as well. I'm sure it's still being worked on right here. But as you see, it starts building out these pages automatically for us, kind of stylizing them the way that we would like it. For this particular page itself, again, we can go through and we can kind of organize stuff so it looks a little bit better as we start to improve upon and add content to our site. So for this one in particular, I am going to move that this card set down to the section 3 right next to the body field here. And then I'm going to click save. That way, with things like the sub navigation that's building itself, it would just be to the right. And so it kind of gives it a little bit more of a cleaner kind of look here and not as much white space is being wasted. But that's about it. Again, you guys are going to be able to still play around with this website for the time being. Nothing's going to get erased here for the next week or so. The taking a look back here on this page, we have our next meeting is going to be May 18th, which is next week. We're going to have our Drupal user group meeting. This is kind of just a good QA for people to come in, people who have been working on their sites, either that's a self-migration or doing their migration, they're in the migration process. I just kind of have a QA session. What I do want to go over, something that somebody was requesting, was to go over a bit of the web forms, kind of how to work those. So I'm going to go in those in a little bit of a detail as we go over the next user group meeting, just a small training on that. Yeah, but that's about it. Does anybody have any last minute questions before we get going here? All right. Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.